times, in the dark, into a mirror. That is the part everyone remembers. You ended at a sleepover, or your cousin learned it and told you, or you watched a movie when you were too young, and the legend lived in the part of your brain that doesn't unlearn. But 3 was never the whole rule. 3 is just the knock. The old version needed a dark room and a held breath and a girl brave enough to say the name to the glass. The new version needs less than that. It needs a microphone that never sleeps, a girl who says a name in her room at night, and a cloud patient enough to keep every single time she says it. A man's daughter said the name. The old rule stops counting at 3. The cloud did not. My daughter is 11. Her name is Carolyn. C to me. Never Caro, never Carrie. She's particular about it. We bought the mirror for her birthday in March. It was on every parenting blog list of great gifts for tween girls who want a vanity, but their parents won't buy them makeup. We're in Naperville, west of Chicago. 1 kid, 1 cat, 1 mortgage. C's room is at the top of the stairs. The mirror was supposed to be the smart thing. Voice activated, augmented reality overlay. Bedtime story mode with ambient lighting that dims to a low amber when the room sensor reads dark. You stand in front of it, you say its wake word. We changed it from the default to Mara because C wanted the mirror to have a name, and it does things. Plays guided breathing for sleep, reads a story, tracks how often you stand in front of it, and gives you a little garden of digital flowers when you hit a streak. C's used it every night since March. She is the streak keeper of streak keepers. The garden is enormous. I want to say up front, I am the parent who set this up. I created the family account. I linked it to my email. I set the wake word. I clicked through the permissions on the Cloud app without reading them. The mirror records, the cloud stores. The company says it's for improving the experience. And I said yes because the mirror's box said so. And the box was $1,200 and I had already paid for it. My wife Annalise hates the thing, has hated it since the day we plugged it in. She doesn't have a reason she can articulate. She's a paralegal. She articulates well. And she just says, I don't like it. I don't like it in her room. I don't like that it watches her. I said, it doesn't watch her. The camera technically is for the AR overlay only. It reads the room in the moment to lay the cartoon stars over your reflection, and it keeps nothing. No video, ever. I checked. The microphone technically is only listening for the wake word. I am the parent who said, technically. For 7 months, nothing happened. The mirror was the mirror. C did her hair in it before school. She told it she was sad on the day her friend Marlo moved to Wisconsin, and it played her a calming animation of a fish swimming in a slow circle, and she laughed and felt better. She kept her streak. The garden grew. I forgot the Cloud app existed. Marlo had been C's best friend since 1st grade. When Marlo moved, C pretended not to care in the exact way children care most. She stopped asking for playdates. She started spending longer in front of the mirror. I thought the bedtime stories were helping. I did not understand they were teaching the mirror what she was missing. I did not understand that a lonely child is a door, and that something patient was reading the shape of the hole in her. Cloud app kept a rolling log of wake word activations. 6 seconds before, 10 seconds after, product improvement. That was the phrase. I barely remembered enabling it. In October, late October, the 28th, the Tuesday before Halloween, I got a notification on my phone at 6:14 in the morning while I was making coffee. Mara, 14 new activations overnight. The mirror has never had more than 4 overnight. Most nights it has 0. The garden does not grow at 3 in the morning. I clicked the notification. 14 activations between 2:47 a.m. and 3:09 a.m. I scrolled. I clicked the first one, a timestamp at 2:47:11, a small play button, a waveform. It was C's voice. Mary. 6-second pre-roll, room tone, slight rustling, sheets maybe, and then her voice, soft, not a whisper but deliberate, then the wake word activation, then 10 seconds of room tone, nothing. The mirror had logged the clip because the model thought it heard Mara, and the model is allowed to be wrong about that, and what it had actually heard was Mary. I clicked the second activation, 2:47:38, Mary. I clicked the third, 2:48:02, Mary. I sat down at the kitchen island, very slowly, because I could feel my legs trying to make a decision about what kind of fear this was, and I did not want to be standing when they figured it out. 14 activations, 22 minutes. I scrolled to the fourth activation, 2:48:31. This one wasn't Mary. This one was longer. The waveform was different. They ran for the full 16 seconds. I tapped play. It was still C, still her voice, but not a single word. She was talking to someone. The mic caught maybe 1 out of every 3 or 4 words. The rest was room tone, breathing, the faintest creak of a floorboard. The floorboard in C's room that has been loose since we moved in. The one I have meant to fix for 3 years. I could make out, "Are you?" Then, "Do you?" Then a long stretch of nothing. Just breathing, C's breathing, and something else. Then, "Still there." The clip ended. I did not wake my wife. I made a decision about that very quickly in the kitchen, sitting in the dark. I scrolled. Activations 5 through 9 were the same pattern. Mary, 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 a pause. Mary, a pause. Mary. The pauses got longer. Activation 10 was the third long clip, 16 seconds. Most of it was breathing. Then, at the end, 2 words I could make out clearly because C's voice had moved closer to the mirror. The volume of the recording climbed, and the model finally caught the consonants. My friend. Activations 11 and 12 were Mary's again. 13 was another long clip. I tapped play. It was C, very softly, very calmly, saying, "No, I don't want to. I don't want to. Okay, okay." Then the floorboard creaked and I heard her bed. I have known the sound of my daughter's bed for 11 years. The frame creaks one specific way when she gets up. The cloud recording caught it. Activation 14 was 3 minutes later, 3:09:14 and was 4 seconds long. The microphone had logged a single word. Bye. I sat in the kitchen for a long time. I went upstairs. C's door was open the way she always leaves it. Open about a hand's width, because the cat likes to come in at night. I pushed it. The mirror above her dresser was in standby. Low amber light along the bottom edge. The wake word logo pulsing slowly, the way it does when it is listening but not active. C was asleep, both arms above her head, both hands open, the way she has slept since she was a baby. Annalise says it looks like C is being arrested in her dreams. The cat was at her feet. I stood in the door for as long as I would have stood there to check her breathing when she was an infant, which is to say, I do not know how long I stood there. Then I closed the door, and I went back downstairs, and I sat at the kitchen island, and I did not pour the coffee. At 7, I woke Annalise. I did not tell her about the cloud app. I told her C had had a nightmare. I told her I had heard C call out a name in her sleep, Mary, and that it had spooked me. Annalise said, I told you. She did not specify what she had told me. I drove C to school. In the car, I asked her, very lightly, very casually, the way I ask her about kids on the playground, or about whether her teacher had said anything about her math grade. I asked her if she had a friend named Mary. C was watching the front passenger air vent flicker. She had her water bottle in her lap. She said, no. Then, after a moment, is Mary a name like Marlowe? Like, do you say it like that? I said yes. Mary, with an M. I said, like a girl who maybe just moved in, or someone in your class. She said, no, I don't have a friend named Mary. She looked at me. She has Annalise's eyes. She said, not yet. I did not ask her what she meant. I did not trust my voice to ask. Then she looked back at the air vent. She said, can I get the bagel for breakfast tomorrow? I did not say yes. I did not say no. I did not say anything. At work, I called the company's customer service line, the one for the cloud app. I was on hold a long time. When I finally got a person, a woman with a kind, tired voice, I asked if I could get an inventory of the wake word activations from the previous night. She said I could see all of that on the app. I said I knew. I wanted to know if the company could verify the activations were what the app said they were, that the timestamps were accurate, that the clips were the full audio. She put me on hold. When she came back, she said the cloud only stores wake word activations. Anything the mirror's model decided was probably the wake word. Mary, she explained, sounded enough like Mara to a low confidence model to trigger logging. The privacy policy guaranteed nothing was recorded outside of wake word events. She would put a note on my account. I asked her if the mirror had any way to record without the wake word. She said no. She said it the way someone says a thing they have been trained to say. I asked her if I should be worried. She said, sir, I'd unplug it tonight. That afternoon, I went home before Annalise and before C. I unplugged the mirror from the wall. I did not move it. I did not take it down. I did not say anything to C about the cloud app or the 14 activations or the call. I just unplugged it and let the cord dangle behind the dresser, the way unplugged cords do. That night at dinner, C noticed. She said, "Why is Mara off?" I said it needed an update. I said it would be back on tomorrow. She said, "Oh, okay." She ate her pasta. The cat sat under her chair. Annalisa watched me over her wine glass for a long beat, and I did not meet her look. That night, I went to bed with my phone on the nightstand and the cloud app open and the screen face down. The mirror was unplugged. We slept. At 2:47 a.m., I woke up. I do not know what woke me. I lay in bed and listened. The house was silent in the way a sleeping house is silent. The fridge, the furnace, the loose floorboard in C's room. The cat was on the bed. Annalisa was asleep. I got up. I went down the hall. I stood at C's door. It was open a hand's width. I pushed it. The mirror was unplugged. The cord still dangled behind the dresser. The dresser's small nightlight, the one shaped like a moon that C's had since she was 4, was on, casting its soft, pale glow across the room. C was awake. She was sitting up in bed. She was facing the dresser. She was facing the mirror. She was looking at it. I said her name, softly. C. She did not turn. She was watching the mirror, calmly, the way you watch a screen, waiting for it to load. I said, "C, honey, it's 2 a.m. She said without turning. "I know." I said, "What are you doing?" She said, "Saying goodbye." I crossed the room. I stood next to her bed. I looked at the mirror. The mirror was off. The mirror was unplugged. The dresser's moonlight was the only thing in the room throwing any color. In the dark glass of the mirror, I could see C's reflection, and my reflection, and the moonlight, nothing else. C said, "Daddy, she said she was going to find me a new friend." I said, "Who said?" "Mary." My daughter looked up at me in the dark with her eyes that looked like her mother's, and she said, "I'm the one who said it 3 times, Daddy. I'm the one who let her out." She lay back down. She turned onto her side with her hands above her head, the way she has slept since she was a baby. She closed her eyes. I sat on the edge of her bed until I could not feel my legs anymore. When I went to stand up, the mirror was still off. I could swear that for a half second, when I moved to stand, the corner of the glass picked up a little flicker, a pulse, a breath of light at the wake word logo. Then, nothing. I left the room. I closed the door. In the morning, I called my mother. My mother is 73 and lives in Mishawaka, Indiana, and she does not understand the cloud app. She does not understand smart mirrors. She understands, instead, the things her mother told her, which her mother had told her, which had been told to my grandmother by women who were born in Galicia and Connemara and Polish villages no one in our family can name anymore. The way mothers pass a thing down. I told her some of it. My mother was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "What week is it?" I said, "Mom." She said, "What week?" "On the calendar." I said it was the end of October. It was almost Halloween. My mother said, "That's the worst week for it. And that's the week the glass goes thin." "You did not pick the night. The night picked her." My mother said, "Throw the mirror out." I said, "Mom, it's $1,200. My mother said, "Throw it out and don't break it." Don't break the glass. You wrap a mirror in a sheet the way you cover one when somebody's died in the house, so the one who's leaving can't catch sight of herself in it and decide to stay. You wrap it, you carry it out, you put it on the curb, and you do not watch who takes it. She said, "Now listen to me. The number was never 3. I said, "What?" My mother said, 3 is how she answers. 3 is the knock at the door. The girls who knock 3 times and run, who say it once for the scare and never again. She lets them be. They grow up. It's the ones who can't leave it alone she keeps. The lonely ones who want her to stay. The ones who keep calling her back. She doesn't take you for opening the door, Hutch. She takes you for not being able to close it. And don't let your girl say the name again. She can think it. She can dream it. She can't say it. And if she thinks she did something wrong, if she goes to make it right with whatever she thinks she let out, don't let her apologize to it. Not to the mirror, not to the room, not to the wall where the mirror used to be. Apology is an invitation, Hutch. It is the only one you can give without meaning to give it. I said, "Mom, what does she want? This Mary, what does she want with an 11-year-old? My mother said, "Same thing she's always wanted. She had one once. She lost it. She has been cold and alone a very long time. And she is always, always looking for a child to keep. If there was a hole in your girl this year, if your girl was lonely, that is the door. That is how she gets in. Not the mirror, the lonely." I said, "Mom, this is a smart mirror. It listens for a different word. The thing my daughter said." My mother said, "Hutch, it listens. That's all it has to do." I sat with a phone on my ear for a long time. My mother had not said my name like that, Hutch, since I was a boy. I said, "Mom, the Cloud app says it only records when it hears the wake word." My mother said, "And what was the word?" I did not answer her. I went home that afternoon. I wrapped the mirror in our spare guest bedsheet, the way she had said, the way you cover one when somebody's died. I did not look at the glass while I did it. I carried it downstairs and out to the curb. I told C when she got home from school that Mara had broken. I told her we would think about a new one. She cried for about 3 minutes and then went to the kitchen for a snack. That night, C did not sit up in bed. The mirror was gone by morning. The curb was empty. I do not know who took it. I am trying not to think about who took it. There is something I have not told Annalise, and never will. My daughter is fine. That is the thing I hold on to. She sleeps, she eats, she goes to school. By every measure I can hold up to her, nothing is wrong. But the garden, she never asked about it again. The streak she had kept since March, 7 months of it, the thing she checked before her own teeth, ended the night the mirror went to the curb. She has not, since October, asked me for anything. And a week after the curb, I found her standing in her room, in front of her dresser, looking up at the blank wall above it, at the 2 empty hooks where the mirror used to hang. And she said, very quietly, not to me, in a voice that was almost kind, "I'm sorry." I crossed that room faster than I have ever crossed a room. I I got my hand over her mouth before the second word. My mother was in my head. Apology is an invitation. And C looked up at me, calm with her mother's eyes, and she was not startled that I had stopped her. She did not ask why. She looked like a child, being reminded of a rule she already knew. She is fine, and she is also, in a way I will never be able to prove to a doctor or to my wife. Not entirely the girl I drove to school in October. Something in her went quiet that month, and it has not stopped waiting. The cloud app still works. The mirror is unregistered now. The garden is paused. The company keeps the account open for 90 days in case I plug a new mirror in. The activations log still has 14 entries from the night of October 28th. I told myself I kept them for evidence, for the day a doctor or Annalise would finally ask me to prove what I heard. That is not why I kept them. I started listening on Wednesdays. Headphones, the chair at the kitchen island, the lights off. Annalisa at her office late and C asleep. Mostly clip 13. No, I don't want to. I don't want to. Okay. And the long one, the one where she says, my friend. The clips that still had my daughter in them. The lonely one. The one from before October. But you cannot sit in the dark with the three Marys in your ears week after week and not begin to say them with her. At first, it was only my lips moving. Then it was under my breath. Then it was out loud, quiet in a dark kitchen with my back to the room. I stopped counting the plays somewhere past 100. I stopped counting the times I said it along with her, some while after that. I understand my mother now, in a way I did not on the phone. She said it keeps the one who keeps calling. I did not understand that I had started calling her back. 3 nights ago, I opened the app to listen, the way I do, and there was a new entry at the top of the log. Last night, 3:11 a.m., while I was asleep. The mirror is gone. There is no device. There is no microphone in this house anymore. But the cloud logged an activation. I tapped play. 6 seconds of room tone, but not my kitchen. Not C's room. A bigger room, a hollower one. The kind of empty a place has when it is not anywhere at all. When it is just the inside of a signal. A room with no walls and no end. The hum of a light that isn't on. And in that room, far away, I heard my daughter. The lonely one. The one from before October. She said, very softly, no, I don't want to. And then, close to the microphone, closer than anyone could be because there is no microphone. Another voice, slower, patient. It said one word, again. And then the file did a thing the others never did. It answered. A third voice, closest of all, tired, quiet. A man's voice saying the name into the dark, the way I have said it through my headphones every Wednesday for 6 weeks. Mary. It was mine. The mirror was gone. The account was unregistered. The device showed offline. The file existed anyway, and I am in it now. It is December, the week the glass goes thin, the week my mother warned me about, closed weeks ago. It made no difference. By the time it closed, I was the one holding the door open. The old version of the story is about a girl who says the name in the dark 3 times into a mirror. I have said the name in the dark more times than I will admit to. The number is no longer 3. The number is no longer anything I can count. Annalisa asked me once if the files were gone. I said yes. She did not ask whether I had deleted them. That is what marriage becomes when both people know where not to step. The company offers a 1-button delete all option in the privacy menu. It is a soft gray button at the bottom of the screen. I have hovered my thumb over it many times. I have not pressed it. I tell myself it is because deleting the files would delete the only place my daughter, the lonely one, the before one, still exists. That if I delete them, I will not be able to find her again. But that is not the whole reason either. The other reason is that on Wednesday, it will be dark in the kitchen again, and I will put the headphones in, and I will want to hear what comes next. I do not know who I mean by her anymore. I am no longer sure it matters. In 2010, a researcher sat 50 ordinary people in a dim room, one at a time, and asked each of them to look into a mirror for 10 minutes. By the end, 2/3 had seen their features deform, melt, slide, rearrange. Nearly half saw something in the glass that was not a person at all. And more than a quarter met someone, an unknown face looking back out of the mirror, a stranger they could not name and were certain they had never been. Your brain does this. In any mirror, given the dark and the time, it deletes the face it expects and fills the gap with the face you are afraid of. It will do it in a bathroom mirror. It will do it in a phone screen. It will do it in a smart mirror that dims to a low amber when the room goes dark. The stranger in the glass was always going to be there. That part is old. That part is just a brain in the dark. The only new thing is that now the glass remembers. The cloud keeps. And the stranger has somewhere to be saved. Folklorists will tell you the ritual is older than the smart mirror, older than the bathroom mirror, older than glass. The substrate changes, the story does not. For most of those long centuries, the substrate was breath and memory, and the chance that a girl in a dark room would say the name 3 times. Now, the substrate is also a cloud, a microphone, a 6-second pre-roll, a logged file with a timestamp and a length. The man whose nights these are has a soft, gray button he will not press. He tells himself he will press it tomorrow. He has been telling himself that for 6 weeks. I would not count on tomorrow. This has been Hollowgrin. The old rule was never about who said it first. It was about who kept calling.